Full Cast Audio presents Wildlife. Written by Cynthia D. Felice. Read for you by the author and the Full Cast family.
1.
I passed!
Erik Carlson flew through the back door and into the dark kitchen, hollering,
Mom! Dad! I passed!
The screen door slammed shut behind him, rattling the cups in the dish drainer, causing the cat to leap from his perch on the windowsill and head for cover in the pantry closet.
Oh, Crenshaw, don't be such a scaredy cat.
Erik called over his shoulder as he ran through the room. He liked Crenny well enough when she decided to sit on his lap and allow herself to be petted, but she wasn't nearly as much fun as his best friend Patrick's English setter, Hot Spots. Hot Spots was a champion bird dog. If she couldn't be hunting, she loved nothing more than hanging out with Patrick and Erik, fetching a ball or a stick, or learning just about any trick they felt like teaching her. Crenshaw was named after one of Erik's father's favorite golf champions. Mr. Carlson didn't actually play golf, but he enjoyed watching it on television, something Erik just couldn't understand. Playing golf looked slow and boring enough. Watching it on TV, with the announcers speaking in hushed voices and sounding like they were spies discussing high-level national secrets, felt to him like torture. He enjoyed doing stuff, like building the tree fort he and Patrick were making in the woods behind Erik's house. He preferred games where he got to move, to run, swing a bat, toss a ball, or shoot something.
Mom! Dad!
He called again.
Where are you guys?
When there was no answer, he went to the living room where his parents sat, Dad in his lazy boy, Mom on the couch.
Hey, what are you doing, sitting in the dark?
Without waiting for an answer, he flipped on the light switch and continued.
Guess what? I passed. I got the highest grade in the whole class, and Patrick got the second highest. We did better than the grown-ups even.
Erik and Patrick had been taking a New York State hunter safety course. He waved the certificate and held up a wallet-sized card.
See? It's official. Patrick and I can go hunting with his dad. Junior hunters can go out a week before opening day, and that's this coming weekend.
He stopped for a second to catch his breath and noticed for the first time the strained smiles on his parents' faces. There was a long pause before his mother said,
It's terrific you did so well in the course, honey.
Congratulations, Erik,
said Dad.
Let me see that.
Erik handed the certificate over, and an uneasy silence filled the room. He had the feeling that although his dad was looking at the piece of paper in his hands, he wasn't really seeing it. Erik's mother's eyes were on her lap, where her hands were balled into tight fists. The air felt heavy with things that weren't being said.
What's going on?
His parents looked at each other as if trying to decide who would answer, and the silence drew out even longer. His mother sighed, and his dad placed the certificate carefully on the table beside his chair.
We have something to tell you, Erik.
His mother patted the cushion next to her on the couch.
Sit down.
Erik didn't want to sit down. He didn't like the sound of this at all. A terrible list of possibilities was running through his head. Either his mother or father had contracted some horrible disease, or they were getting a divorce like his friend Mark's parents, or maybe it was Erik himself who had the disease. He had just had a physical for school. Maybe the doctors had found something.
I might as well come right out with it. We've been called up. We're being deployed to Iraq.
Erik stared dumbly at his father.
I know how you feel, honey,
said his mom.
It came as a shock to us, too. We thought that, as reservists, well, we hoped this wouldn't happen. But the war's dragged on so long.
She shrugged helplessly.
And now we're needed.
Erik was having trouble believing his ears. His parents had been staff sergeants in the Army Reserves his entire life. To Erik, it was no big deal. They each reported for duty 1 weekend a month. They did drills and performed fitness exercises. They took classes to update the skills the Army had trained them for. Their specialty was training other soldiers and preparing them for duty. And while he'd always known that there was a chance his parents would be deployed, he and they had never really believed it would happen. They knew other reservists who, like his parents, had been in the Army 30 years or more and never been called up. Why his parents? Why now? As he struggled to put his chaotic thoughts into words, his father went on.
We'll be training Iraqi soldiers and MPs so they'll be ready to take over when our military leaves. It's taking longer than expected to get the locals up to speed. Lots of guys have served several tours already. So...
He spread his hands.
It's our turn, buddy.
But both of you have to go?
It's unusual. But, well, we've got the training, and we're needed.
There were so many questions Erik wanted to ask.
What about your jobs?
His mom was a nurse, and his dad was a mechanic at a Toyota dealership.
The hospital's already been notified, and your dad told the guys at the garage today. They're not happy about losing us right now, but they know it's just the way it is. We'll have jobs when we come back, honey. Don't worry about that.
But...
Erik couldn't seem to stop saying that.
It's all very sudden, I know,
Mom said, reaching over to give his hand a squeeze.
They try to give people more notice than this. But we serve at the need of the Army. They can't always keep up with changing demands. An order comes down, and it's got to be met.
How long will you be gone?
6 months is what they're telling us. But that could change. It could be longer.
Erik was quiet as the enormity of his parents' news began to sink in. Finally, he forced himself to ask,
What about me?
His parents exchanged a glance.
You know the Army requires us to have a family care plan.
Erik vaguely remembered his parents talking to him about this, but it had been a long while ago, and at the time, it hadn't seemed important.
Yeah, I guess. But I forget what it is.
He had a sudden thought.
Can I stay with Patrick?
No,
Mom began, but Erik interrupted her.
I bet his parents would let me. I could call right now and ask.
He took a step toward the phone, but his mom said,
Erik, no. I'm sure that Patrick's mother would be happy to have you. But you know she just had the new baby, and on top of that, they've taken in Patrick's grandmother, who requires a lot of Mrs. Holt's attention. It's just too much to ask right now, especially for such a long time.
We have to stick to our plan. I'm not sure we'd even be able to change it at this point. You'll be going out to stay with Oma and Big Darrell.
Oma and Big Darrell were his mother's parents who lived in North Dakota. Erik couldn't believe his ears.
But I don't even know them.
Oh, Erik, you remember when we went out to visit?
I was 3 years old. That was 9 years ago. I don't remember anything about it, and I sure don't remember them.
Well, you've spoken to them on the phone since then.
Yeah, on Christmas and my birthday. Happy birthday. How's school? Goodbye.
There's no need to be sarcastic.
His mother looked at him pleadingly.
Honey, the Army wants you to be with family, and so do we. Your father's parents have both passed on. There's no one else.
After a few beats of silence, Erik said sulkily,
I don't even know where North Dakota is.
This was a slight exaggeration. He knew it was one of those big block-shaped states out west somewhere. Dad got out the road atlas and opened it to the map that showed the whole United States. With his finger, Erik traced the route from upstate New York, where he lived, to Fortuna, North Dakota.
That's really far.
Not as far as your mother and I are going.
Dad answered in a failed attempt to sound jolly.
How am I going to get there?
You'll fly out.
How long will that take?
All day.
All day?
Erik turned to his mother for help.
Mom, I'll go nuts sitting in an airplane all day.
It will actually be 3 different airplanes, Erik. Company resource personnel looked into it today. Your flights are booked.
Erik groaned.
What if I get on the wrong plane by mistake and end up in...
He paused, trying to think of a place more remote and less appealing than North Dakota, but couldn't come up with one.
The airline people won't let you get lost.
Erik searched his brain for another argument. Then he had it.
What about school? There's no way I can be out of school for that long. I'll get way behind in everything.
You don't need to worry about your schoolwork.
Dad answered, as if that was Erik's actual concern.
Your grandmother will be enrolling you in school out there. And your records are being sent, so they'll know which classes to put you in.
When do we have to leave?
You leave on Friday. Our flight leaves Saturday morning, and we want to take you to the airport and see you off.